Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dakota's Political Circle. And today I wanted to talk about, I wanted to do a hypothetical situation where it's Trump versus Gavin Newsom. And the reason I want to do that is because if Harris doesn't get selected and if Biden doesn't get selected as the nominee, it's probably going to be Gavin Newsom. And I don't think Michelle Obama is going to get it. I don't think Whitmer, Clinton, Shapiro, Buttigieg, or Sanders are going to get it. I think the only three choices are going to be either Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, or Gavin Newsom. And based on this scenario, it is showing that in betting odds, it is showing that Harris surprisingly does well. Based on recent RCP average, it's saying that Harris has the lead over Biden in the betting odds, which is very weird. But it's because of Biden's cognitive decline, and a lot of people were second guessing that Biden will be the nominee in November. In my opinion, I think Biden will be the nominee no matter what, so it's just easy money to get right now if you want to bet on it. But obviously, the second choice would be Harris. It makes sense. But if there is a third choice because of how unpopular Harris is, it's going to be Gavin Newsom. Michelle Obama has already stated that she doesn't want to do it, and I don't think Whitmer's that likable that it would be. I think Newsom, out of the three, would probably have the best shot at beating Trump. But I'll actually be doing a prediction right here to show you guys what I think that scenario would look like. And these hypothetical scenarios, I'm not going to do these each month or anything. I'm just doing them for fun. I actually got a comment on my last vid. Well, I think it was 2 videos ago, saying that I should do it on on Gavin Newsom because I did one on Harris, and I thought it was a good idea because I mean it makes sense to do Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom's probably the third option if you don't want to do Harris or Biden. And I don't think there's any other choice. You can't do Michelle Obama. She doesn't want to run for president. That's why I wouldn't do a prediction video on Michelle Obama. She doesn't want to be president. So, I mean, it's just kind of like useless. But for Gavin Newsom, at least there's a shot he could be the nominee. And probably has the best shot out of anyone besides Michelle Obama to win the presidency. But I did want to do this prediction. I also want to show you guys. It shows on here. So this is the RCP average for Trump versus Newsom. It does say 4.8, which is a little bit above for Trump over Biden. Now, in my opinion, I think Gavin Newsom has a better shot than Joe Biden does because of Gavin Newsom isn't cognitively declined. He's actually he actually can speak correctly and stuff like that. The only thing bad about Gavin Newsom is not a lot of people like Gavin Newsom, and he's also the governor of California. It makes sense why people do not like Gavin Newsom. But at the same time, I do think Gavin Newsom has a better favorability than Joe Biden, in my opinion. Now, on this poll, based on polling, obviously it says that Trump has a higher lead. Trump has a higher lead with Gavin Newsom than Biden. I just think that's the case only because he's not the nominee yet. When Gavin Newsom, if he was the nominee, I think those would change a lot more, and I think Trump would still have a lead, but I don't think he'd have a massive lead like he does against Biden right now. But that's basically what polling shows. But in my opinion, I do think Newsom would probably have the best shot out of those three. And I'll actually do a prediction right here to show you guys what I think this map prediction would look like if Trump did face Gavin Newsom in November. And I'll do this one time just to show you guys what I think would happen. So, okay, let's start with... and also, I messed up the pie chart on my Harris one. I forgot to put... chart tilts. I forgot to turn it off, so you saw all the tilts and stuff. This time you're not going to see any tilts, so you can actually see the number easily right here. But let's start with let's do the safe red states first. So Montana, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming. I accidentally put Colorado. Wyoming. You got Oklahoma, Kansas. You got Nebraska. Nebraska's first. Nebraska overall. South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama. You got South Carolina in there, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee. You got Indiana, Ohio. And I believe that might be all of, well, other than, no, not the first. I think it's the second. Yeah, the second of Maine. And I don't think, actually, there's Alaska down here. And I don't think there's any more safe reds there. And if there is, I will put it back on if I do find it. Now let's do safe blue states. So Washington, Oregon, California is going to be very safe red, as well as Hawaii, because I believe they would like Gavin Newsom to be president. A lot of these smaller states right here. And I'm leaving out New Hampshire for now. Any other safe blue? I would say Colorado would be a safe blue in this scenario. I would say Illinois, New York. Yes, New York would be safe blue in my opinion. I don't think any others would be safe blue. So I think that's. Well, actually, wait. Maine's first would be safe blue. I'm not going to put Nebraska second though. Okay, now let's do Trump likely. So Trump likely ones I would say are Texas. You got Florida there. And I think that is probably all the likely ones for Trump. Yeah, I would say that's all the likely ones for Trump. So likely ones for Gavin Newsom, I would say, are New Mexico. I think New Mexico would be a little bit more favorable to Gavin Newsom than Biden. I would also say that Maine probably, yeah, Maine would be likely, and I think New Hampshire would also be likely in this scenario. I don't think there's any other likely ones from what I can tell. So okay, now lean Trump. I would say lean Trump would be Nevada, Arizona. You got Georgia in there. I think I accidentally messed it up. Yeah, there we go. Georgia, North Carolina. That's all the lean. The reason I'm putting Nevada and Arizona in the lean is because I don't think Nevada and Arizona would change much even if Gavin Newsom was the presidential nominee for the Democrats. I think Nevada and Arizona are just tired with having Biden, that even if there was another Democratic nominee in there, they think the same thing would happen. And North Carolina and Georgia, I just see them having those favorables just to happen. Now, you could see the possible Republican nominee for governor lose in this election because I think it would be barely likely for North Carolina in this scenario if this did happen. And any others likely for Trump? I would say no. I mean, lean, not likely. Lean. And Gavin Newsom, lean. So I would say Minnesota would be lean. And you got Virginia in the lean. The reason I say Minnesota is I think Minnesota would have a lot more favorability towards Gavin Newsom. I think they'd be less likely to vote. Also, I forgot to say Nebraska second. I think the reason Minnesota would be more likely to vote for Gavin Newsom is because he's not like Joe Biden, and I see them more favoring Gavin Newsom than Joe Biden. And Minnesota isn't really a Republican state, so I don't see them voting third party as much as they would if they was against Biden. So I'd say a lean for Minnesota. Virginia, I would say it really depends on who Trump picks as his nominee. You could see maybe a tilt Virginia for Democrats if Gavin Newsom was the nominee, if Trump had maybe Youngkin as a VP or something. But in this scenario, I just see Virginia favoring Gavin Newsom with a lean scenario. And obviously Nebraska second. Nebraska second's a little bit iffy. You could probably say it's tilt in this scenario for a tilt Dem, but at the same time, I really don't know because it's Nebraska second and doesn't have a lot of polling or anything like that. So I'm just assuming based on that. And now let's do a Trump tilt. Now I think Trump tilt would be really interesting. I think Trump tilt would be okay. Actually, I'm going to put Pennsylvania in the lean. I actually want to change that. The reason I think Pennsylvania would be in the lean is because I think Pennsylvania, well, it could go either way. It's very hard to tell in this scenario. Actually, I'll put Pennsylvania in the tilt. The reason is because Pennsylvania likes to vote Democrat when it's for an opportunity, like when they voted for Joe Biden in 2020. I think the reason they did it was because they were worried about what was happening and stuff like that, and they're also more favorable to Democrats in some instances. So I would say if they had another option for a Democrat in Gavin Newsom, I think they would want Gavin Newsom, but at the same time they would think about him being from California and all sorts of stuff like that, and then they would probably favor Trump a little bit more. So I would say tilt Trump for Pennsylvania, just because I think Pennsylvanians would be a little bit iffy on Newsom, but it would be a close race. And then Wisconsin, I'm going to put tilt Trump as well. And then I'm going to put Gavin Newsom tilt for Michigan. The reason I do Trump for Wisconsin is I think Wisconsin's kind of tired of what's been going on with Biden and stuff. And I think Wisconsin, I think it would be by very, very minuscule if it is against Gavin Newsom that Wisconsin would vote for Trump. I think they would be a little bit more right than Michigan would be. I think Wisconsin and Michigan would be like kind of the toss-ups in this scenario. Pennsylvania, I think, would have a little bit more of a favorability towards Trump, but I wouldn't put them in the lean column for Trump. Now, Michigan, I just don't see them voting for Trump if they had Gavin Newsom on the ticket. This is like if their governor, Gretchen Whitmer, was the nominee for the Democrats. I see them voting for Gretchen Whitmer because that's their governor. But also, Gretchen Whitmer has a lot of similarities to Gavin Newsom. So I would say they favor Gavin Newsom more because they like their governor, Whitmer. And Whitmer is a little bit like Gavin Newsom, in my opinion. So I would say Michigan really would favor Gavin Newsom, but not like by a lot. I think they would barely vote for Gavin Newsom. So in my scenario, it would be 297 to 241. Trump would win because obviously winning Pennsylvania in this scenario. If he lost Pennsylvania, Gavin Newsom would... Actually, no. Trump would still win. In this scenario, Trump would win the election. I believe the only way Gavin Newsom can win in this way is if he wins Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, which in this scenario would not happen. Trump would win both Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and Trump would win by 297 to 241. Gavin Newsom would lose. And honestly, I think this prediction is pretty accurate for the most part. I do think Pennsylvania would be more favorable to Gavin Newsom, but at the same time, I think they're tired of having Democrats in there because of what Biden did the last 4 years. So I think it would be a very mixed bag. A lot of people think that Gavin Newsom will have more of an unfavorable than Biden, but in my opinion, I just think they'll be like, well, he's more younger. He has a little bit more of an advantage in certain aspects, so I think it would be a closer race. But I do think Trump would win in the end no matter what. But it would be a little bit more contested than it would be against Joe Biden is right now against Trump. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to make a prediction video just based on Trump versus Gavin Newsom, just to make it fun. Because, I mean, this is just a hypothetical scenario. I mean, I don't really want to do one on Gretchen Whitmer. I think this is probably my last hypothetical unless someone comes up, like, in a big scenario. The only one that is really coming up, the really big possibility, is Harris. So it's either going to be Trump. It's either going to be Trump versus Biden or Trump versus Harris. That's basically what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be Gavin Newsom, but it is a good third choice. But everyone else, like Michelle Obama, you got Gretchen Whitmer, those types of people, I just don't see them running whatsoever. Even if Biden dropped out, it's just not going to happen. The most obvious choice is Harris, and the most obvious second choice is probably Gavin Newsom because Michelle Obama doesn't want to run. But yeah, guys, I probably won't make a Michelle Obama one just because of that scenario. But if you guys enjoy this video, like this video and stuff like that, I'll try to have more videos out. Definitely next week. I believe Trump will probably be picking his VP this upcoming week because of the Republican National Convention. So I do think he will be finally picking his VP, and I will definitely talk about that. Hopefully it is a decent VP pick. I'm hoping for Vivek or maybe Tulsi Gabbard, or maybe even Glenn Youngkin. Like, I wouldn't be mad about Glenn Youngkin either, because you need someone that could really push your agenda, but also shift the tides in the election. Vivek can't really shift the tides, but I do think the other two can really shift the tides in the election and give Trump more of a boost, I guess you could say. And I've heard that Trump really wants a candidate that can boost his numbers. So I would say probably Youngkin is probably going to be the one that he's picking. If not, you could see maybe, if it really is, I would be very upset. It could be Vance, or you could see Rubio, and I think those would be awful choices, but we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. My next video will probably be out next week unless something else comes up. Obviously, the 15th, 16th, I will be posting the prediction videos I do every month. So hopefully you guys enjoyed those. This is just a hypothetical, obviously. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.